Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to study a very important novel by Toni Morrison. The novel is Beloved. Toni Morrison was an American novelist and she was born on 18 Feb 1931 in Ohio, United States and died on 5 August 2019 in New York, United States. Her first novel was The Bluest Eye, which is published in 1970, and the critically acclaimed Song of Solomon 1977 brought her national attention and won the National Book Critics Circle Award. In 1988, Morrison also won the Pulitzer Prize for Beloved 1987, and she was also awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993, and she was first African American to win Nobel Prize in Literature. Her important works are The Bluest Eye 1917, Sula 1973, Song of Solomon 1977, and Tar Baby 1981 and Beloved 1987. She was also associated with Black Arts Movement. Beloved novel by Toni Morrison, published in 1987 and winner of the 1988 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction. The work examines the destructive legacy of slavery as it chronicles the life of a black woman named Seed from his pre-Civil War days as a slave in Kentucky to her time in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1873. Although she lives there as a free woman, she is held prisoner by memories of the trauma of her life as a slave. The novel is based on the true story of a black slave woman, Margaret Garner, who in 1856 escaped from a Kentucky plantation with her husband Robert and their children. They sought refuge in Ohio, but their owner and law officers soon caught up with the family. Before their recapture, Margaret killed her young daughter to prevent her return to slavery. In the novel, she is also a passionately devoted mother who flees with her children from an abusive owner known as school teacher. They are caught, and in an act of supreme love and sacrifice, she too tries to kill her children to keep them from slavery. Only her 2 year old daughter dies, and the school teacher, believing that she is crazy, decides not to take her back. She later has Beloved inscribed on her daughter's tombstone. On the edge of Cincinnati in 1873, just after the end of the Civil War, there is a house numbered 124 that is haunted by the presence of a dead child. A former slave named Seed has lived in the house with its ghost for 18 years. Seed lives at 124 with her daughter Denver. Her mother-in-law, Baby Sooks, died 8 years with previously with exhaustion and seeming overwhelming sadness, and her two sons, Howard and Bugler, ran away from the haunted home just before Baby Sook's death. Paul D., a former slave who used to work on the same plantation called Sweet Home as Seed, arrives at 124 and moves in, making a kind of family with Denver and Seed. Paul D. awakens painful memories for Seed, and Denver is jealous of the attention and affection that Seed gives to him. But just as Denver is getting used to the new familial arrangements, a strange woman appears at the house. She calls herself Beloved and says that she doesn't know who she is or where she is from. Beloved asks Sid many questions about her past and somehow seems to know about things only Sid knows, such as about a pair of earrings Sid received as a gift from the wife of her former master. Denver loves having Beloved around the house and eagerly tells her about the miracle of her own birth. Sid escaped from Sweet Home while pregnant with Denver and almost died of hunger and exhaustion while trying to make it to Ohio. But a white woman named Amy Denver found Sid, cared for her, and helped her get to the Ohio River, where she gave birth to Denver. Sid named Denver after the kind white woman. Paul D recalls his experience working on a chain gang. He and the other slaves eventually escaped together and had their chains cut by a group of Cherokee. Paul D wandered north and stayed with a kind woman in Delaware for some time, but he was unable to settle. He felt an urge to wander and did so for years before coming to 124. Missing baby Sooks, Sid takes Beloved and Denver to the clearing in the woods where baby Sooks used to have spiritual gatherings before she fell into her exhausted state. Sid wishes that baby Sooks were there to rub her neck, and suddenly she feels otherworldly fingers massaging her neck. But then the finger begin to choke her until they finally let go. Denver thinks that Beloved is somehow behind the choking, but Beloved denies it. Beloved gradually and mysteriously forces Paul D out of the house by making him restless so that he ends up sleeping outside in the cold house. When he is sleeping outside in the cold house one night, she persuades him to sleep with her and stirs up his painful memories. Beloved tells Denver that she wants Paul D out of 124. Then the novel moves back in time to follow baby Sooks as she waits for Sid and her son Holly, which is Sid's husband. Sid had snuck her children out of Sweet Home and sent them ahead to 124. And she and Holly are supposed to escape together and come to the house. Holly never arrives, but Sid does, and baby Sooks is happy to have at least Sid and her children reunited. She hosts a grand celebration for the neighboring community, and her mega stores of food miraculously furnish a huge feast for 90 people. After the celebration, she feels uneasy and realizes that she has offended the community with an excessive display of joy and pride. She senses that something bad is coming as a consequence. Soon after the celebration, four horsemen come to 124. A school teacher who became the owner of Sweet Home after the kinder original master died, his nephew, a slave catcher, and the sheriff. They have come to take Seed and her children back to Sweet Home to work as slaves. The offended community does not warn Seed or baby Sooks, and when Seed sees school teacher coming, she gathers her children and runs to a shed when the four horsemen find her. She has killed one child with her saw and is ready to kill her other children. A school teacher decides that she is crazy and not worth bringing back to work. The sheriff takes Seed off to jail. Back in the present, a former slave named Stampede, who helped Seed escape to 124 18 years ago, tells Paul D about Seed killing her own child. Paul D confronts Seed about it and then leaves 124. Feeling guilty for causing Paul D to leave Seed, Stampede goes to 124 to talk to Seed. But she does not come to the door. Stampede hears strange voices from the house and sees Beloved through a window. Within the house, Beloved causes Seed to remember more and more of her painful past. The novel follows Seed's stream of consciousness as Seed maintains that her killing her child was an act of love. Seed believes that Beloved is the returned spirit of her dead child. The novel then follows the thoughts of Denver and Beloved. In a series of vivid but fragmented recollections, Beloved remembers being taken on a ship from Africa to the United States, the middle passage of the Atlantic slave trade. Seed begins to get weaker and weaker, falling under the sway of Beloved, whose every whim Seed obeys. Denver ventures out of the house in search of work to try to get food and provide for the household. She goes to the house of the Bodwin who once helped Baby Sook settle at 124 and tells their maid Jenny about Beloved and the situation at 124. The community rallies together to supply food to 124. As news spreads of Beloved's strange presence at 124, a group of women join together to rescue Seed and Denver from her. They gather around 124 and break into song in a kind of exorcism. Mr. Bodwin approaches the house and Seed mistakes him for a school teacher. Crazed, she tries to attack him but is restrained by Denver and other women. And also then Beloved disappears. After Beloved's departure, 124 seems to become a normal household. Seed has mostly lost her mind, but Denver is working and learning, hoping one day to attend college. Paul D returns to 124 and promises to always care for Seed. The inhabitants of 124 and the surrounding community gradually forget about Beloved entirely, even those who saw and talked to her. The themes in this novel are slavery, motherhood, community, home, memory, and the past. The main characters in the novel are Seed. Seed is the main character and she is an ex-slave who murdered her baby daughter. Next is Beloved, who is the ghost of Seed's murdered daughter. Denver is Seed's youngest daughter. Paul D is an ex-slave who has a history with Seed. Baby Sooks is Seed's mother-in-law and children's grandmother. Amy Danver is a white former indentured servant who helps Seed deliver Denver. Burglar is Seed's son who has run away. Ella is an ex-slave who is also responsible for the death of her children. Harley is Seed's missing husband and the father of her children. Hera Boy is the dog at 124. Howard is Seed's another son who has run away. Jenny Wagon is the servant at Bodwin's home. Lady Jones is the teacher in Seed's Cincinnati community. Ma'am is Seed's mother. Miss Bodwin is a white woman, sister of Mr. Bodwin, who is opposed to slavery and helps Denver. Mr. Bodwin is a white man, brother to Miss Bodwin, and who is opposed to slavery. He owns 124 Blue Stone. Mr. Garner is a kinder slave owner at Sweet Home. Nelson Lord is the boy who asked Denver if Seed had been in jail for murder. Paul A. is one of the slaves at Sweet Home. Paul F. is one of the slaves at Sweet Home. Sawyer is the owner of the restaurant where Seed works. His school teacher is a cruel slave owner at Sweet Home. Sixo is a Sweet Home slave and is part of Native American and a rebel slave who is murdered. Stampede is a former slave who worked on the Underground Railroad. 30 Mile Woman is the slave Sixo tries to escape with, and Vasti is Stampede's wife. Thanks for watching.